Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 9:30. I'll call the meeting of Public Safety and Services to order at 10:30. Becky, would you do a roll call, please?
I sure will. Mike Copine,
Here.
Keen Hudson,
Present.
Katie White, Mike Pearson, and Kevin Lally.
Present.
Thank you.
If you're carrying a cell phone, if you would you please mute it or turn it off, one or the other, so we don't have any interruptions? Okay. Then crew, it's going to be quick. Are there any changes or corrections or omissions or deletions that need to be made on the minutes? You see the minutes from last month? Any changes? If not, they'll stand approved as submitted. Okay, Terry is not here from Animal Control. She does have the graphs like she's been presenting as far as some of the activities, so they'll be in the report if you need them. So we'll move down to Amy.
Good morning.
Clerks. Can I turn-
So you
so
have some documentation in your
I need to-
onboard.
Turn the paper over to see it all.
I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so I gave you some stuff in your onboard, or Becky did, regarding Tyler Technologies and how we're coming along. I've given you where we're at on our project. Our timeline going forward, what we've done and what we have been doing is going over our current business practices, I can't even talk this morning, implementing them in their test environment and seeing how the results come out. So far, so good. Things are working. There's a few hiccups here and there, but we're going to get those kinks worked out. We had a March executive team meeting and going over things. It looks like the project remains on track, is progressing well, and we still want to shoot for that February 27 go live date. I think going forward in April, we will be giving them some of our forms. We're going to do a form, implement our forms. They're going to give them to them and the data is going to shoot out and we're going to see how that looks. The big one going forward is the beginning of May. We're going to do a data push. So that's a big part of the project to see how the data comes over from our current system to the new system. But right now, everything looks like we're on track.
Okay.
Anybody have
Any questions for Amy? I have one. I know you're still in the in-work process, but I stay concerned sometime with these programs, different types of programs. How is the support? If you have issues, questions, are you getting a timely response to them? And do you feel confident that that will continue after things go into effect?
Right now, it's been great. They've been on site and on Zoom with all the offices, my office, circuit clerk, public defender, and the state's attorney's office. We have been with them in person 4 days a week since the end of January, and that just quit like last week because there was spring break and some breaks, but it's going to start up again. It's been very well, I think, on both sides, and I think having a project manager keeps that going.
Yeah.
So that's very good. If we have a problem, I go to Brian and he works it out and we'll figure it out.
In a response to any issues or questions do they try to handle it just strictly verbal, like a chat screen that you'd have pop up? Or can they give you visual responses as to what may or may not have to be done?
Yeah, we have visual responses. They come in person, they see what we do now in our system, they take it back with them, put it in their, they sometimes do it right here with us. But yeah, we have Zoom meetings, we have all different kinds of visuals. We like, so that's why we have this timeline. This is where we're at. This is what we want to meet. And we have been doing that. There's going to be a lot of configuration throughout the whole process. So, I mean, that's where we're at. And I have people in my office, I have civil clerks, criminal clerks, traffic clerks. Same thing with Charlie's office. He has certain people that handles traffic, criminal, juvenile, things like that. And we need those people on board, and it seems to be working well.
Good. I think support that you can communicate with, whether it's verbally or if somebody replies to you in foreign language. And I'm not criticizing foreign language, but for me, at my age, if you aren't sitting next to me and making sure I'm awake and listening. It's challenging sometimes.
Right.
When you get the, the secondary people involved in trying to explain problems.
And with data, I'm like, I don't know what that means, talk to me like a 2-year-old and tell me what that means because I don't understand on that part of it either, like IT, things like that, that's over my head. So they do explain it very well, or Shannon will explain it to me.
Okay, good, good. Glad to hear it. Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
Okay. I don't have anything from the judges or the coroner's office. You're up, Seth. Again, welcome aboard. This can be your first official report given then. I appreciate that. I know it's busy and hectic in a transition such as yours, but I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thanks. So I've spent the last month, it feels like signing up for various different accounts that are needed. I mean, it's nonstop. Just again today, got another email, hey, this has got to be switched over into my name, that kind of thing. So still getting acclimated to the office, getting acclimated to the position. We were dealt some severe weather on April 2nd. I gave everybody a handout there, which is just a summarization from the National Weather Service. It happened, the tornado was in the evening of April 2nd. And then the next morning, April 3rd, the National Weather Service came out to Lee County. And with the assistance of Kyle Kellen and his drone, captured pictures, did investigation, determined that it was an EF1 tornado with speeds of up to 100 miles, wind speeds up to 100 miles per hour. On their website, and I noticed they hadn't updated it yet. This information is kind of hot off the press as of Sunday. They did some more investigation with fresh satellite images and determined that it actually started in Whiteside County, about 1,000 feet west of the county line. And so it added almost a mile to the length. Everything else was the same. It just added a little bit to the overall length of the path of the tornado that they determined. There's some pictures there of some of the worst damage that it caused. And as you can see, it did some pretty destructive damage to several places, several homesteads in the county. Anybody have any questions about the tornado or the process that the National Weather Service uses?
Anybody have any questions for Seth?
I just want to say nice report, Seth.
Oh, well, thank you.
The surface has been scratched. Now it's
Right.
onward and upward.
Yeah, and as I recall our last meeting, again, we're at a pretty significant severe weather threat today, as well as tomorrow. Maybe even, was it Friday or Saturday? That's a maybe, but pretty significant threat again today, tomorrow. So keep your eye to the sky and be weather aware as the
I think
TV
they've
stations like to
picked up,
say.
either I haven't paid that close of attention to it, but usually I do because we're right in the alley here sometimes with these storms, but people don't make it an awareness on their part of what's actually going on out here weather-wise. And sometimes they think they're first to jump and complain because they weren't told this or they weren't told that. You can, supply them all the information that you get or like what Kevin got. And if they don't look at it, they're not going to learn what's going on. But I think the EMA program here is pretty well established between the sheriff's department and you coming out of EMA. The
Yeah.
public gets the information. It's their responsibility if they don't like it. I think it's great. I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you. And we were working very closely with Dixon City, Police Department, you know, as they were getting real-time information out as well. And, this was, as, in weather terms, this was really close to, you know, downtown Dixon. Just a few miles. And it was a good feeling to know that, you know, Dixon was on board and actively seeking information, not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. So I was impressed with that.
When you've gone from the term of civil defense up to EMA, it's, you can't believe the drastic change and improvement that's been made within that specific program. So
Yeah.
again, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Seth? Okay, thanks, Seth. Appreciate it. Okay, nobody from the health department. Probation? Stacy?
On Thursday, April 9th, we had Jermaine Galloway here who did a presentation at the Dixon Historic Theater. If you recall, we used opioid settlement funds for that presentation to bring him in. It was very well attended in the afternoon session. We had over 250 people show up. Many of the county department heads were there to support the program. Didn't see any county board members, but that's okay. But it was very well attended in the afternoon. The evening session for the community, not so well, but it's always difficult to get community members to those things. So we were very appreciative of the funds to have him here. We felt he did an excellent job. We received a lot of feedback from the people that did attend it. So thank you for supporting that. We appreciate it. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Stacy? I'll extend my apology, not appearing, but there was a death in the family, so I had it on, even had it on the calendar to make it and was prepared, but things happen, unfortunately. Okay, and no questions for Stacy. We'll move on. Sheriff, I'm surprised to see you here. I don't know what you guys are, how you're staying caught up with things, but
There's currently a lull in the activity, so.
do you have anything in addition to what you have in the packet? Not that that's not
No,
enough.
I really don't. So yeah, if there's any questions on my report, I'd be happy to answer them, but otherwise, next month's report's shaping up to be another interesting one.
It's nice to see you with a smile on your face as far as job security, because it could be
Oh.
the opposite way.
There's definitely job security.
I can remember those days. Good job on behalf of your department and yourself.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for the support.
How many flock cameras do we have?
12 total.
12?
Yes.
Okay.
We could use more, but see what, there's some pending legislation down in,
This isn't on the list of itinerary, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Has Amboy approached you about anything?
they have not approached me. I've heard that they were interested.
Information? Yeah, I think, can't remember his name. The officer they just hired,
Oh,
rehired, Hollinger.
Nathan Hollinger?
Yeah.
Yes.
He made the recommendation or suggestion, and I think I was just wondering if they had.
We had talked with our sales rep previously, and I believe that they can jump on with us as far as adding a couple additional cameras. So that's definitely a possibility if that's the decision they make.
I, of course, the night I made comment to it here favorably, the woman stood up kind of in opposition because of a violation of their privacy, you know, but
There's cameras everywhere, so I mean, that's,
good. If I could afford to buy one for you, I'd have you put it wherever you wanted to. So, okay, anybody have any questions of the sheriff? And if you don't have anything to add, thank you for your report. Again, it's some tough people taking off of the street. That's Mr. Boonstra. you're up.
Thank you, sir. As you can see from the sheriff's report, he's keeping us plenty busy. I don't think it was included in the report, but they had a pretty busy weekend as well that we're trying to pick up the pieces on now as well with the arrest of Matthew Steele. So that's another thing that's been coming through my office, as well as the vacancies that we have right now. I am down 2 assistant state's attorneys and an administrative assistant as well. We're going to be doing some interviews this week and going into next week for both of one of the ASA positions as well as administrative assistant. So if you know anybody and they're looking for an attorney position, we've got plenty of plenty of applications for the administrative assistant, but we could use a couple more for the ASA position. So if you know anybody, send them our way. As far as collections go, I can tell you at least for the month of March, because I'm pretty sure I gave you the February and January ones. We had a total amount of $11,901.52, bringing the total for the year up to $30,850.42. And that's all I've got for you. Unless you have something for me.
I have a question. Is the turnover a result of wages such as what the sheriff experiences sometimes, or even like we do down in Amboy? Is it the wages, benefits, or why are we losing them now in the state's attorneys? Oh, of course,
Sure.
I think we always did, but is it comparable from what the sheriff goes through in law enforcement?
I think it's a portion of it. I won't say it's the big portion of it in terms of the wages. You look at the fact that if you were going into private practice as an attorney, you're going to make significantly more. And that's just, everybody knows that going into it. It's not a hurdle that we can actually get over. Government wages are going to be significantly less for attorneys, and that is what it is. But I will say that the county board has made great strides over the last 5-6 years to try to get more aggressive with the wages for the attorneys, that I appreciate it. I know my people appreciate it. It's still that cost of living that we deal with. But the big part of what you're going to see is when you have, we'll say the closest law school, NIU, you have people that are going to stay in that area in DeKalb. And when they decide if they're going to get a job either east or west from there, if they're going to be in government work, they look to the east and they are going to make more just because the cost of living out there is more, but they're still going to have that same cost of living in DeKalb. So it's hard to get people that stay there to come west and look at jobs out here. It really was just a perfect storm this time around in terms of losing Mike over to Carroll County, because there was an opportunity there for him to become state's attorney, and he ran with it. And I think he deserved to have that opportunity out there. So we are seeing quite the desert for attorneys out here right now in general, even in the private practice out here. There's only a handful of people in our community or in the Sauk Valley area that still practice criminal law. A lot of it is going to be the transactional, the wills, trusts, estates, all of that stuff that doesn't touch on the criminal law portion of it. It's all civil stuff. But it's tough to find attorneys to come out this way.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Anything else to add? Okay,
No,
anybody
thanks.
have any questions for the state's attorney? Okay, thanks, Charlie. Appreciate it. Guess whose turn it is? I don't care if you don't have anything to say.
Yeah, so quickly on abandoned nuisance properties, I mean, we did not hold a meeting this month, but we continue to work with potential partners on some of our larger commercial properties that we have either assumed ownership of or working on pathways for corrective action over there. Right now, we have Lee Center School that we are actively trying to find a partner on for hopefully a housing development of some sort. That is what it's best used for. We also recently assumed ownership of the Eldina Infirmary that has been falling in on itself for years. We are in the process of looking at creating an RFP to demo that out, turn it back into green space, and then either auction that off or try to find a housing developer out there as well, because that's what it's suited for. So active things in progress, our community funding, or I'm sorry, the Strong Communities Grant will be coming to a close this November. The city of Dixon has fully used their share, working through that process. We're going to go through the reimbursement piece with the state on that. And Amboy has already taken down one home, is in the reimbursement process through the state of Illinois as well, and is looking at another. We're going to look to apply some administrative costs to this that we can find applicable. And then worst case scenario, if one of the other communities that we've been working with cannot use the remainder of the funds, which I know they can, we're going to move forward on another home. The problem is the county, I don't think we want to be in the property owning business. So I would prefer to find other partners, than for us to assume more property and then try to offload it at some point. So that's all I have for that, but I would be remiss if I didn't state that going back to public defender, Bob Thompson, our longtime public defender, has retired as of the 10th. That was his last day, right? 29 years, almost 30 years. Would have been 30 years, I think, in June, something like that. So gonna be missed, at least in the office all the time, but I know he's still gonna be practicing here and there and assisting in some things within the county. With that being said, Will Fox did assume the full-time public defender role as of Monday. So we're excited to see his journey as he moves forward. And he did hire another full-time assistant, Seth Wiggins, which we're excited to have him on board. And he has a pretty good vast history in public defender offices regionally and throughout the state. So we're excited to have a new team with a new journey and kind of a new vision for what they're doing there. And it'll be cool to see what they do. So just wanted to give an update on the PD's office.
Any questions for Jeremy on our mess? Jeremy, what was that new address? I was reading a lot of the stuff yesterday that the sheriff requested to be placed on the.
You saying the new
Abandoned.
address? So we get I'm not sure, I'd have to look through it, but we get notifications from the city of Dixon with new addresses. Is that what you're talking about? Was it something different?
Yeah, I think so. No, the sheriff was the one that asked if we could.
Oh, you're saying for nuisance properties? Is that what you're talking about? The abandoned nuisance properties?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, so that was, we have to look at, I have Joe looking into that. So sheriff did send us an address or that came up in the conversation in emails. And Joe's gonna go research the property, look into that, and that might be something that we utilize some of those funds for if necessary. But it seems to be in unincorporated Lee County, or so it wouldn't be in city limits, and that's something that we'd have to look at. I do believe. So
okay. You want me to go out and take pictures or anything?
I think Joe's doing it, but you're more than welcome to.
Oh, that's all right.
Want to go see what's going on inside there?
It's gonna take me a month to get them, ones I got on there now off. Okay. Any questions? All right, thanks, Jeremy. Do I get a gold star for that now?
2. You get 2 gold stars.
Mr. Hudson, Northwest Illinois Criminal Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Northwest Illinois Criminal Justice Commission Mobile Training Unit 1 met on March 12th. Board members discussed information about the scheduling of planned classes for training for law enforcement agency. Next meeting will be in June. That's the end of my
Is that it?
report.
Any questions for Keen? Thank you, Keen. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm not showing anything for unfinished business or new business. Charlie, anything for executive?
No, sir.
Okay. Nothing else? Entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved by Mr. Lally, seconded by Mr. Hudson. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys.